chats. And I'm really excited because I've got Inge with us today. Hello, Nick. How are you?
Thank you, Claire. I'm very well. Yes, thank you very much.
And can you tell everyone where you're calling in from today?
Yes, I'm in Kent in Southeast England.
Brilliant. So this is a very, very important topic. And it's a topic that often when you're a leader, you don't really talk about. This is how psychological safety creates honesty in the workplace and the importance of psychological safety. So first of all, Nick, I chose you for this topic for a reason. Can you tell everyone about your experience and what you do?
Yes, thank you. So I used to be in the police until I retired just over 5 years ago and spent most of my service recruiting informants, criminal whistleblowers, and
Yeah.
realized from a very early age, I suppose, in my service, how difficult it is to get people to speak up. And hence, when I retired, I set up a business called I Trust to allow and encourage people to speak up in the workplace.
So the speaking up, this is why I've chosen you for the psychological safety, because we need
Yes,
to feel safe to speak up. Sorry, what were you going to say?
yeah, no, and that's the whole reason why I set the business up to give people that that space, the ability to feel safe to be able to speak up. And speak up is more than just whistleblowing; it's about the positives as well. And it's really important. And I've had it in my experience as well because I have spoken up in the workplace. That you feel supported by your organisation, you've got the
Yeah.
mechanism, and you feel believed as well. Because if you don't speak up, or if you do speak up, you don't believe that anything's going to happen, you're not going to do it in the first place, as well as it shows all your colleagues and the rest of the organization it's not worth doing. And it's a big step for anyone to want to speak up. So you do have to feel really, really safe and supported.
Yeah, yeah. And that actually goes with the first question I want to ask you, which is what is the significance of psychological safety?
It's everything. Because if you get up in the morning and you go to work, you have to feel 100% safe in what you're doing in terms of where you are in your life's journey, in your career's journey, where you are in your family setup. And as a person, you just have to feel that confidence. And it's massively important. People just underestimate it, I think, because if they don't get it right as an organization, then they're not going to hear the truth in terms of that's a good, bad, and indifferent. And people have to feel that is when you go to work, you have to. It's not just about what you do. It's not about creating widgets. It's about everything that goes with it, and it's so important. I can't emphasize it enough. That's my business.
Yeah. And I'm so glad I've got you on as one of the guests for this topic because it is so important. And we want to create an open and honest culture. And the work that I do on positive intelligence coaching does help create that honest and open culture. So what else can leaders do to create that culture so that people feel safe to be open and honest in the workplace?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's being humble enough and human enough to understand what it's like to be in their team's shoes. Because at one point they were a junior in any organization. Because 9 times out of 10, that's how people start, right? So be humble and be human and understand what it's like to be on the other side of your management technique, right? So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
Second thing is have clear communication channels, because if you
Yeah.
don't have that and people don't know how to feel the way there is a mechanism by which they can speak up, then they're not going to do it. So there's have to be clear communication channels, and that's not just electronic, that's physical as well,
Yeah.
right? And they have to have, and that's what we say to our clients, they have to have you said we did type culture boards. Otherwise, and I mentioned this a minute ago, there's no point in even having people feel safe at work if they then don't feel listened to at the same time, because they're going to, the whole thing has a ripple effect. Because what happens is it just takes one person not to feel safe, not to feel like they've got that voice, and they don't, and there's no channels. They go, do you know what? They'll tell their colleagues over the water dispenser or the coffee machine or whatever, don't bother because I wasn't listened to. And that has that ripple effect of the whole organization. It only takes one incident. And I've had it in my career where I was a supervisor in the police, and I know that if I had an incident or a member of my team reported something to me, and I then reported it up, and I thought nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely point. and then the whole thing just starts crumbling.
Those 3 points are essential, and I want to go over them again because I think they're so, so important. So the humble, what did you say the first one? The humble and
You've got to be humble, clear communication channels, and be listened to.
okay, so let's
And
talk about the
and
humble. Give me an example of what you mean by somebody being humble, because it's all fair enough to say remember what it was like to be in their shoes, but often we can find it difficult to remember what it was like to be in their shoes. So can you give me
yeah,
an example?
yeah. Look, I'm no better than anyone else on this planet, and no one's, no one should be any better than anyone else, right? So I give an example. So when I was in the police, one of my supervisors years ago said to me, he said, Nick, he said, your opinion is just as valid as mine, but I get paid to make the decision. That's my responsibility. And I've never forgotten that because we're all flesh and blood, right?
Yeah,
Regardless of background, creed, color, race, or anything else, right? And that's no different in any organization. So I'm the CEO of my business. I will listen to everyone else's opinion,
yeah,
but I have to make that decision. And it's so I'm not better than anyone else. You just have to realize that everyone's, on this
yeah.
planet for X amount of period of time and all those sort of cheesy things. But it's really true. Honestly, it's just listen to people and then make a decision, but don't think you're any better than anyone else. And just be
Love it.
humble enough to know that we're all flesh and blood.
Love that, love that. So the communication, the clear communication, I love that where you say it's not just communicating electronically, we should be talking to people. And one of the clients I dealt with for mental health first aid, for Stand Up for Britain Day, they made a pact that nobody send emails that day to anyone else in the office. You stand up and you go and talk to them. So that's a great example of that. But I loved your third point. Can you just reiterate those words that you said because they were so important?
People have got to be listened to.
People have got to
They
be
have to be
listened
listened.
to, but you also
Yeah.
said something else that was really, really key. You said
Well, so there's a
the
lot.
the whistle blowing. You said what was the term that you used?
Whistleblowing, speaking up, right?
Speaking up,
Speaking up
and
is,
you said I did. What was that term?
I said, you said we did, right? So
You
you get
said we
listened to.
did.
This is what
That
I
was
just,
it.
you said
Yeah.
we did. Yeah, sorry. So it's basically, I just mentioned those three things, right? It's no point having all of those elements in terms of humbleness and communication channels if whatever someone says, good,
Yes.
bad, indifferent, is not listened to. Because even if the organization or
Yeah.
you as a leader don't act on it, you have to tell them why you didn't act on it because of
Yeah.
there's a resource implication, there's a financial cost to it, there's other things that the person making that report or whatever or communicating with you is not
Yes.
aware of, right? So that's so important because it's that. And I used to do it, and I still do it now. I used to say to my teams, "Tell me what you think of me. Tell me what you think of your colleagues. Tell me what you think of the organisation. Tell me what you can do in terms of improving it for everyone, not just yourself as a member of this team. And
Mhm.
then if I can't act on it, or I think it's a great, I will communicate with you back. It sounds very mechanical. I will communicate with you back and tell you why we can or why we can't. And that's all anyone asks for.
I love that. You said we did. You said we did. And I think it's so, so important that we remember that. That is so key. And something that I found when I'm coaching leaders is that when there is the psychological safety, people actually are much more high performing. They do so much better. So what I'd love you to tell us about now is how can leaders enhance psychological safety so that their teams feel more relaxed and feel more confident and then perform better and have better results?
Yeah, no, that's another great question. And this is me in my life generally. Everything should be relaxed. No one
Yeah,
likes formality. No one likes that. Right, it's your turn to speak. Now is your. Come on, people dress
yeah,
down for the theatre. They dress down for the opera. There's and if people feel more relaxed and they're more happy. Anyone who
yeah,
goes to work and they're not happy doesn't perform. And people who are happy, and we go back to the psychological safety thing, and they feel they've got a voice, and they feel they're listened to, and
yeah,
they feel that they're part of the organisation, regardless of what level they're at, then they'll start performing because they believe in the organization
yeah,
that's paying their wage, or even if they're a volunteer that's actually valuing their time.
yeah,
And it's massively important. I do it the same with my family, I do it with myself, it's so
yeah,
important and feel that sense of belonging. People go to
yeah,
work not just to get paid. They obviously they want a salary. They've got to put a roof over their head and get food in their tummy and look after themselves and everything else. But they go to work to be valued as a human. regardless of what role they're performing, and it's massively important. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not you. This is your expertise, but this is what I used to feel when I went
Yeah.
into work. I've got my own business now, obviously, but I still do it now. It's massively
Yeah, I
important.
love it. And I love the way the word that you use there, they want to feel like they belong. Because if we don't feel like we belong, we aren't going to perform as well. We're not going to be relaxed, as you said. And it has actually been proven if people don't feel like they belong, it's got more physical, it's worse than physical harm. It's like having pain, it's like having physical pain. And I remember training in sales years and years and years ago, and there was a team who weren't performing. And I just went in there and I said to them, just relax, have a laugh, and enjoy it. And I got them all to stand up, I got them all to have a bit of a laugh, and then I said, come on the next course, we're going to stand up and be relaxed. And my goodness, the whole mood changed, the whole culture changed. And guess what? They hit their targets that month.
Yeah, of course. People
And it
perform.
went,
They don't just make widgets for widgets' sake and get them paid and go home again. They're not
yeah,
robots.
yeah,
There's so much more to it. And I'm not a psychologist and
yeah,
don't profess to be one, but I'll give you a quick example. Every time I did a briefing at work in my old world, I used to
yeah.
get everyone to tell us what they had for dinner the night before.
I love that.
And what happened was it gave everyone a voice. It wasn't political. It wasn't anything that could,
Yeah.
people could fall out over. You're not going to fall out over baked beans on toast and versus pizza or something, right? It gives everyone opportunity. And what happened was at the end of the briefing, everyone away left that briefing
Yeah.
energized and having a laugh. You've got to get
Having
the job
that.
done. Get me wrong, but you go to work to enjoy yourself,
Yeah.
not just to make widgets
Yeah.
go over again and get paid. So
That's absolutely brilliant. I actually do that when I do workshops and day-long courses to get people into groups. I get them to line up and I do something like, what did you have for dinner? Or where's your favorite holiday place? And you're getting to know each other a little bit more. And you're also having a laugh and having a bit of a relax. And then I put them into the groups that they're next to. So then you don't have the, oh, I didn't want to be with that person. It's like, oh, well, we can talk about our holiday or whatever. So it's
yeah,
brilliant.
because yeah, absolutely. You're not going to fall out over, someone went to Spain or someone went to Greece and they're going to fall
Yeah.
out over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then work comes on top of that. It's
Yeah,
so
just
yeah.
breaks the ice. So I've loved this chat, Nick. It's been absolutely wonderful. So thank you so much for your wise words. And I think everyone's going to go away from here feeling a lot more relaxed. And if we are relaxed, we will perform better and we'll feel psychologically safe. So I'm sure there's a lot of people who would like to find out a little bit more about exactly what you do about this whistleblowing. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. So tell everyone, where can people find you? Because I'm sure they'd like to organize a meeting or a Zoom call or whatever so that you can actually explain exactly what it is.
Well, yes, thank you, Claire. Thank you so much for inviting me on and for giving me the opportunity to have a chat. It's been really, really enjoyable. Thank you. Um, and in relation to where they can find us, the company's called iTrust, and we're at www.theiTrustApp.com.
Brilliant. And you're on LinkedIn as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we got a big LinkedIn following. We've got nearly 30,000 followers now, I think, 5,000 on Twitter and 5,000 on Facebook. So
Brilliant.
please feel free to DM, connect, and it'd be lovely to have a chat with anyone who wants to have a chat.
Great.
Thank you very much.
I'll put all of those links in the description so everyone can find you. So thank you so much, Nick Inge. I love that surname and take care.
Thank you very much.